What's going on, guys? Matt over here with Lethal Camaro, and today I want to do a brake review. Now, there's a ton of people out there that are sick and tired of the stock brakes dusting their car. Now, there's a lot of people out there who claim they've used certain products or do certain things to their wheels that make the dust not stick. I've tried what seems to be a million different options, all the way from the hydro coatings to the sealants to all of that junk, and nothing has ever provided a real way to get rid of all of the dust or even 50% of the dust that sticks to these wheels. Now, keep in mind, these are stock Brembo setups on this car. This is the 4-piston, not the 6-piston, so I can't speak to how dusty or dirty the 6-pistons get, but my assumption from what I've seen is it's about the same. So there's a ton of companies who do make replacement pads for our cars, and some of which say that they eliminate dust, they do less dust, they have better stopping power, etc. And one of those companies is PowerStop. So I went ahead and made the investment and looked at all the different options. They offer a couple different tiers, but knowing what I was going to be doing with my car, such as going down to the track every now and then, daily driving, street performance, all that greatness, I went with the Extreme Street Pad, which is the Z26. Again, there's different tiers of these pads, but the install, if you guys didn't see my brake install video, it's in the upper right hand corner. You could check it out there. But the big thing is how do these work? Is the install easy? Is all the products there, etc., etc.? Out of the box, it's super simple. In the box, they give you a new bracket, the pads, and grease that you need for your install. The grease is for, you know, depending on your setup, the back of the pads or the caliper pins, etc., so you don't get crazy vibrating or screeching noises, etc., and also just so the parts jive with each other properly. But the other side of it is the install. The install's super easy. You literally pull the pads out, slide these bad boys in, and you're good to go. Now, when you do get new pads, I do have a few recommendations. Not everyone agrees with me. That's fine. But when I do new pads, I either, one, I turn my rotors to my car, or I install new rotors. Typically, most rotors could be turned 2 to 3 times. Typically, I'll turn them once, and after that, I will just go buy new rotors. It may seem like an expensive way to go, but the biggest thing is when you put a brand new pad on, you want it to jive with a brand new rotor so that it doesn't have any previous divots, heat warping, crevices and whatnot that can cause these new brake pads to screech and scream, which is something we all don't want. But the biggest thing is dusting. So these are a ceramic based pad. Now I do have my old pads in here because I've already installed them. If you guys missed my unboxing video of these where I actually show you the pads before they were installed, you could check out in the upper right hand corner to see what the pads look like. But as of right now, these pads are installed. So I have them on the fronts and the backs. I just did a full detail and wash of the car. So my wheels are perfectly clean right now. The brand new pads are on there. You can actually still see a little bit of the water from washing it last night. But this setup is good to go. So my rims are clean, everything's installed properly. Now it's time to see how they dust. So over the next week, I'm going to be driving the car. I'm going to be doing snippets in the rest of this video to show you each day as I'm driving the vehicle, so you guys could see how it's holding up and how they perform. Well, I'll speak to how they perform, but how it performs in regards to dusting on the wheel, because that's one of the biggest things. Obviously, we still want the car to stop well. We obviously want the car to perform well, but I think the dusting is probably the biggest issue in why people are looking at a different brake pad for this car. So let's go ahead and check out how these pads perform under just daily driving and finish this review off properly. So on my Z26 PowerStop pads, I did follow a specific break-in procedure. After I installed them, I did drive around a little bit up and down the street just to get an idea to make sure that the brakes, one, were still working after I pulled everything apart, and two, just to make sure that they were actually stopping appropriately. After I did that initial drive, I went down to a fairly large, long open area. I did 5 consecutive 60 to 10 mile an hour runs, applying firm pressure to the brakes to come to that stop, or actually to slow down to 10 miles an hour. So during my break-in process, I don't actually completely stop the car. I do straight up 60 to 10 miles an hour, 60 to 10 miles an hour, 60 to 10 miles an hour, all while each time applying firmly on the brake, getting a nice break-in procedure on the pads. Now, if your pads are squealing or squeaking or anything like that, you basically just need to redo the break-in procedure to eliminate that. That could be caused by any millions of different things. Grease on your inside of your pads, grease on the rotors. It could just be the pads being, maybe something got on them from manufacturing. It just needs to be burnt off, all that kind of stuff. So follow that break-in procedure. It should eliminate squealing. If your squealing or screeching is still happening, I would contact the manufacturer to see what they say to do from that point. In this instance, I had no squealing, no braking issues, no nothing. The break-in procedure went just as I thought it would, and the car stopped perfectly fine. Again, no screeching, no squealing. And even I would say, this isn't a scientific test because the car was dirty when I installed them, but even after the first drive of 250 miles, to LA and back, my wheels were not nearly as dirty as they've ever been doing that journey with these pads. So that has me very hopeful with how this product's going to perform. But I'm going to do one better, and I'm going to track how this product's doing over an entire week of driving, which should hopefully be around 500 to 600 miles in this instance, knowing what I'm going to be doing this week. But we'll see how they perform, how they look, and you guys could be the judge. So again, I bought these brake pads purely for the issue of dusting. I do have a pretty strong feeling that it's not just dust building up on our brakes. I found with these MRR wheels that there's an inside groove just behind the front design that does catch a lot of sand and dirt. I know it's not brake pad dust, so I know I'll still have that problem, but we'll see. We'll find out. So we'll get into the nitty gritty. We'll see what's going on and get right on into it. Okay guys, check-in number one. I put 50 miles on the car today, so decent amount of driving. And I will say the wheels look really good. The only dirt that I could see on the wheels is maybe some road sand and whatnot that normally will pick up in the grooves of these specific wheels, but I do not see any brake dust whatsoever. It's already a huge improvement. Just being able to drive 50 miles and not have crazy dust or even a little bit of dust build up, that's not bad. That's the fronts. Let's go check out the backs. Backs do have a little bit more road dirt, but I would not call that brake dust. Again, it looks like sand, but it usually just builds up right in here, as you guys can see right here. See, there's some more sand. It's not brake dust, but the brake dust would typically build up on the outside of the rim, but as you can see, the rims are still glossy and shiny. Not really much dirt. This is a pretty good sign. So 50 miles in the book. We'll do another check-in after some more driving. It is day 3 of, well, it's more than day 3, but it's day 3 of actual driving in my car. And apologies, my hair's a little crazy. It's late. I was wrestling with the kids. Put a lot of miles on the car. What is it? Probably 300 miles now. So at this point, my wheels with the stock brake pads would be devastated with brake dust and dirt and grime. So at this point, not only did I do normal driving, I did mountain driving. So uphill, crazy downhill at speeds. We went up to Mount Palomar. I mean, I was putting that car in corners. I was hitting brakes. Like, if anything, if dust or dirt was gonna happen, it was gonna happen here. So let's check them out. They are still shiny. So this is the fronts. Let's go check out the back. Pretty dang good, man. That is my feedback would be these do not dust nearly as much or even much at all compared to the stock brake pads. So the other side is how do they feel? you know, how does the car stop, all that. Now, this is not scientific at all. I didn't do any 60 to complete stops or 100 miles an hour to complete stops and measure brake distance and all that stuff. I don't have a place to do that in it, like non-prep roads. Like it wouldn't work. But as far as the feel of the car, I didn't feel any difference between the stock pads and these pads. I don't know if I can say they bite any harder. I mean, the car stops, it doesn't feel any worse. So I would say the pads still retain the same quality of stopping power, if not maybe a little bit better. But again, that's a seat of my pants feeling at that point. But I didn't buy these pads for increased performance per se. I expected the same type of performance, but I mainly got them to eliminate the dusting, and that basically did it. So I am a fan of these Power Stop. These are the Z26. Link is down in the description. They do make other versions of these, different quality and for different applications. If you're just street driving only, I believe these ones are the street track oriented ones. But I'll put a link down below. You can check out the different ones. From what I've seen on the Camaro 6 forums, people with the other pads are claiming the same thing. They don't dust nearly as much or at all for people. So I think that's a huge win in regards to these pads on this specific car. So if you didn't see my brake and rotor install, it's in the upper right hand corner. You know, so if that interests you or not, but I am a fan of these brake pads. I will continue to drive with them and report back if anything happens or any issues or whatever the moment that they happen. So but as of right now, they're running great. The car sounds great. They don't squeal, they don't chirp, they don't chatter, they don't anything like that. They run great. It's smooth stopping. They don't dust, as you can see in all of my videos showing you what the wheels look like after 300 plus miles on the car since being washed. And I'm super happy. Like, I don't feel like I need to go wash my wheels right now after driving so many miles, which is crazy because normally after I drive 50 miles, I'm like, crap, I gotta wash my wheels or clean my wheels because they look so dirty. So that's a huge win. Either or, that's my thoughts. So if you guys enjoyed this video, hit that subscribe button, support the channel. I have tons more content coming around Camaros and other things. If not, likes, comments, shares are appreciated. Check out Lethal merchandise down below in the description. And until next time, I'll see you on the road.